ignores the need for electoral reform. There may be anarchy at the polls. This is a projection, and if nothing is done about it, it's likely to come to pass. Number two is by-election. By-elections, INEC is pretending to be sleeping. You know, when a man is pretending to be sleeping, it's difficult to wake up. How can you have seats at the National Assembly vacant for so many months now, and INEC is yet to declare a date for by-election? It is a deliberate attempt to exclude this constituency from the scheme of things at the National Assembly, and it's very, very, very bad. We have a seat that is vacant at Kaduna State National Assembly, that's the House of Rep member, and we have a couple of other seats that are vacant for over 5 months now without INEC declaring a date for by-election. And the number three is where is NANS president? NANS president, Comrade Atiku Abubakar, he has gone underground. He has not been heard of lately since he made that video that trended on the alleged kidnap by Sheikh Tinubu. He has since gone mute. Nothing has been heard from him, and I began to attract suspicion that probably the powers that be may have him arrested or silenced one way or the other. But we are asking the question: where is Comrade Atiku Abubakar, Isah, the NANS president? Nigerians deserve to be in the know as to his whereabouts. Then the number 4 on the item is the growing unemployment in Nigeria. What went wrong? Policies of governments have direct or indirect implication on the welfare of the citizenry. This extends to the ease of doing business by companies, expatriates that visit Nigeria for one business or the other. If government policies are inconsistent, and it often affects their transaction, it often affects their ease of doing business in Nigeria, they are bound to shut down and leave. And the more companies, industries are leaving the country, of course, is a bad omen for anyone who is intending to come and establish any company in Nigeria. So we are on this program, we equally dissect what actually went wrong. You agree with me that in a country where there is no power supply, in a country where there is no security, in a country where there is inconsistency of exchange rates, these 3 factors are very critical to decisions of any major companies that is intending to come and establish a company in Nigeria or operating a business in Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, this is COPDEM People's Parliament, and it's time for us to have a critical analysis on these 4 topics that have been so raised today. Let me also remind us that COPDEM has had a World Press Conference which address the topics that we've discussed over time on this platform that highlighted Nigeria drifting into a one-party state. I'm happy that COPDEM as a general organization will be able to pick it up to have a World Press Conference on that matter. It is our belief that the relevant authorities and will be able to sit up to put things in the right shape, because democracy, the beauty of democracy is the availability of choices to make. If the whole choice is narrowed down to APC, then Nigerian democracy is gone. On this note, join me to welcome discussants on this platform, on this program, Mr. Agbonifor John from Edo State, a regular on this program, and Mr. Edego Sunday, all the way from Kwara State. Um, Please feel free to unmute and speak to our audience. We have viewers who are joining us live here at BDM, and it's a pleasure to have you all being part of this program. So on this note, Mr. Edego Sunday, would you want to have a contribution on these 4 burning issues that is so raised?
Thank you very much, Mr. Due Process. You see, now there are many items you atomize here. I mean, you analyze right now. I don't know. Maybe I think we should be taking it one after the other so that it do not flop all. We start from number 1. Now tell us.
2027, ignoring electoral reform may lead to anarchy at the polls. That's the view of COPDEM People's Parliament.
Okay. Thank you very much. You know, on this issue of electoral reform, you know, we have, you know, COPDEM and we have discussed it extensively, you know, that if this issue of electoral reform, issue is not reformed, you know, that is to say there are hidden agenda. Like I said before, what happened in 2023 might have repeat itself again. So the only way out is for them, you know, to amend the electoral reform. So that is that is not go area. And how do we get that done? Like I said, you know, it should be a campaign for all. You know, every concerned Nigeria should continue to agitate for this very electoral reform to be addressed. If not, there will be anarchy, like you said. There's no two way about it. So let me use my mind.
Mr. The aspect of the anarchy that the COPDEM People's Parliament is allaying the fear is, for instance, should INEC official come to the polling unit with intention to conduct elections, and the people, the voters are expecting him or her to have arrived with beavers. Also be able to upload the results via IREV as expected, being institutionalized. And should there be any excuse of no, beavers is no more part of the process, or since when they get to the collation center, they will upload it there and all that. These are issues that definitely Nigerians, as they are, with the mood of the country, I don't see Nigerians accepting this as excuse come 2027 at the polls. So it is only expected that those who are the end of affair be able to see that, yes, there's a problem ahead of time, and the best way is to getting it solved. If they fail to solve it, then there's more likely penalty. Mr. John Agbonifo, I don't know if you want to have your thoughts on the electoral reform issue that has been raised.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Due Process, and good evening once again, everybody here present. You see, the truth is that I really do not agree with you less. You know, the reason is this, very simple. Recall that 2023, the results, a lot of Nigerians thought or believed that the results would have been otherwise, you know, and had that confidence, you know. But incidentally, they decided to wait for the courts to do the needful, you know, being that INEC has exercised that power that they had. irrespective of the desire of the people. So the people now had that confidence in the courts to reverse those decisions and do the needful. And unfortunately, that hope too was dashed at the end of the day. Now, the question now will be, with the situation in the country now, especially in the political space, and with the way people are feeling and with the hunger, will these people be willing to allow INEC, to give INEC a free hand to conduct this thing as expected, or will everybody be on the neck of INEC to tell me what next? INEC now, everybody now looks at INEC suspiciously. That is on the one side. Then again, exactly. Nobody has confidence in the court any longer. So nobody is ready to wait to decide anything now. So electorates will prefer to get their results at the polling units come 2027 and be sure of what the results are, rather than waiting for the courts. So all of these are the factors on the table. So it is important that electoral reforms are taken very seriously by the regulatory body, because that's the only way confidence can be restored to the electorate. And that's why all citizens that mean well for Nigeria are very particular about electoral reform at this point, especially now that we still have the time, so that to restore some level of confidence on the electorate and to enable and create that avenue for a very peaceful conduct of 2027 election. Otherwise, we're going to have a very tense atmosphere, and that could actually lead to anarchy, as you have opined. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that brief submission. Gentlemen, I don't know if there's a lady in our midst. Please, if you are just joining us, do well to rename your device so we can make a proper acknowledgement. In the meantime, Honorable Gibson Emmanuel from Nasarawa, thank you for being part of this program. Mr. Sam Crown Synergy Limited, I don't know your actual name. Thanks for joining us at COPDEM People's Parliament. So the topic has been rightly introduced. Would you want to have your contribution? Please feel free to unmute and speak to the subject matter. In order to bring us to speed, I'll be reading out some of the 4 items that have been discussed tonight. 2027, ignoring electoral reform may lead to anarchy at the polls. That's the fear of COPDEM People's Parliament. Then the number 2 on the item is by-elections. INEC is pretending to be sleeping. Number 3 is where is NANS president, Comrade Atiku Abubakar Isah. He has gone underground, and not much has been heard from him since he made that viral video against Sheikh Tinubu, who has been alleged to be behind the kidnap of Atiku Abubakar Isah, the NANS president. Then the number 4 on the item is growing unemployment in Nigeria. What went wrong? Industry don't just fold. Industry fold for a number of notable reasons, like epileptic power supply, government policies, unfavorable government policies, of course, and insecurity. These 3 major items are key determinants of expansion of industry or folding up of industries. Please welcome to COPDEM People's Parliament. We would like to have your thoughts on these 4 burning issues. Having discussed the electoral reform, I don't know if there will be contrary opinion or additional points to be raised. That being said, we will continue with item number 2, which is by-elections. INEC is pretending to be sleeping. Would you want to have a thought on this number 2 items? Please unmute and have a say.
Mr. Due Process, if you ask me, you see, this number 2 item, number 1 actually dovetails into it. How do I mean? Now, I read the news sometime recently that INEC has made a budget proposal for the by-elections, and the government is saying there is no money for that. And that is quite ridiculous. Now, first of all, you have to understand that you are denying this constituency effective representation. All right. Then again, if these officers were actually at their beats, you know, which this vacancy has been created as a matter of necessity and uncontrollable circumstances in the event of death and necessity in the event of people moving to other responsibilities. You know, so if these guys were there on their seats as it should be, now these guys would have been entitled to their monthly allowances and salaries for all of this period. So now, and there's an existing budget for these monies. And these guys have been out of seat. These vacancies, I don't think there's any of these vacancies that is less than 6 months. All of this money put together, is it not enough to conduct this election? So when government tell you that they don't have money to conduct by-election, and that is why these Nigerian people have been denied of effective representation, is it not a funny situation? For me, it's a funny situation because if you look at it critically, what do you really need to conduct these elections? The beavers are already there, the buildings are already there as in venues. So perhaps we just look at logistics most basically. And you're just talking about polling units that might be less than half of the states in the country. So what do you mean you don't have money to conduct this election? So if you don't have money to conduct these by-elections, is it the 2027 general election that you would not have money to conduct? So I see all of these things as a kind of build up, you know, to kind of build up on the part of the regulatory bodies to see how to confuse Nigeria in 2027. And I say, for me, as far as I'm concerned, that is totally unacceptable. There is no reason whatsoever under the sun why these by-elections should not be conducted. If these by-elections are not conducted going up to 2027, then it's a complete mockery of Nigerian democracy. That's my position on number 2, Mr. Due Process.
I agree fantastically with you. And in order to buttress it further, it is appalling that the Nigerian election is marred with over-militarized personnel, over-energized military, overzealous police. All security apparatus are brought into election, which is uncalled for. When you see the mood of elections in Nigeria, it seems like Nigerian government is going on a war. And I cannot, find a justification why it should be like that. Recently, I watched a video of an election, general election, that was conducted at Canada. And there was no any police at the door. Citizens conduct themselves, walk into the collation center, they vote. There's nothing like collation center, just a piece of computers arranged in a hall where people walk into, and they cast their vote and walk away. That's the system that works. Nigerian government, the INEC, the Independent National Electoral Commission, doesn't seem to be ready to conduct credible election. That's why they over-militarize the elections by requesting unbearable, unnecessary, overzealous presence of security architecture during elections. If you know that all you are going out for is to conduct free, fair, and credible elections, you have nothing to fear, because the masses should be even there to assist you and provide you security should you need any. But because the aim of elections in Nigeria is predetermined to make it chaotic, should it be that the outcome of the election is not favoring the status quo? It's not favoring the ruling party. So there is a reason why too many police that are supposed to be busy providing law and order for the general citizens, too many soldiers that are supposed to be involved in protecting the territorial integrity of Nigeria will all be mobilized towards election. Elections should not be that difficult to conduct if the incumbent is not interested in stealing the outcome of the election. Then it should be very easy to be conducted.
I think there's network issue here.
Hear me? Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Sorry, I had a brief interruption. Call came through my line. So, more contributions, please, on the subject matter.
Honorable Houston, you want to say something? His hand is up.
Oh, please moderate it. Let him have his say. Please unmute and speak, Mr. Gibson. Mr. Emmanuel, please unmute and speak.
In this parliament life, as we discuss about the electoral reform,
Please, are you using a mouthpiece? Can you mouthpiece? Mr. Emmanuel, can you come back to you?
We need electoral reform for us to have
Mr. Emmanuel,
and which I believe we should begin to raise voice for the need for us to have we observe some.
Mr. Emmanuel, please, we cannot hear you. Your voice is cracking.
Hello, Mr. Gibson. Are you hearing us there? Hello, hello. Oh.
I don't know why I cannot hear us.
Hello.
Please, mouthpiece, you remove it. Your voice is cracking.
If there is a way they can silence him, please, the host should do so.
I've met him. Mr. Emmanuel, please, your voice is cracking. We cannot hear you. If you are using a mouthpiece, kindly remove it. If otherwise, you can just exit and join back so that we can have a good reception. Thank you. All right, I assume he has even exited. Let's look forward to having him back. Please, more contribution on the topics. More contribution. The topic is on the Jumbotron. You can just check it out on the chat box. Drop it again. Look through to acquaint yourself with the subject matter being discussed. The COPDEM People's Parliament. Who is going next, please? Unmute and speak. Thank you. Moses Victor. Mr. Moses Victor is speaking. Can someone confirm to hear me, please?
No, sir.
We are hearing you.
I don't know why Mr. Moses seemed to want to talk, and I can't hear him either. So who is next, please?
Okay. Okay. No, I want to do the listening. Okay, I just want to do the listening for now. Okay, I will come if.
No problem, sir. Welcome to COPDEM People's Parliament. We are happy to have you on board. So our discussion has been centered on electoral reform, and by-elections are being ignored by INEC under the guise of non-budgetary allocation or approval for the conduct of the by-election. And you and I know that that's not true, because INEC is just not interested in having this thing done. How can you silence the entire constituency from the scheme of things? You silence the voices of this constituency from adding value to the national discourse via the National Assembly. That is an aberration. It is an abuse of their rights and privilege as a people. And the Nigerian law is not complete without the voices of those constituencies. Therefore, we are calling on INEC to revert and do the right thing by conducting these by-elections for these constituencies that probably their representative were sacked or died due to natural cause, and there is need for replacements, like in the instance of Kaduna State and a number of other constituencies, where they've lost their member of the House of Representatives, in some cases, Senate, member of the Senate. So going further, just like we have discussed about electoral reform, it is not just enough for IREF to be used. As a matter of fact, Nigerians are taking it further, and COPDEM People's Parliament is amplifying it, that the general elections must not just be uploaded by IREF. It must not just be by use of beavers. As a matter of fact, we are demanding for real-time upload and transmission, as well as display of all election outcomes via a large screen at the National Collation Center and at each state collation center. Nigeria have all the resources to get this thing done. Election should not be that difficult. Technology make election to be more transparent, and this will win and the interest of the people. This will encourage more voters to get involved in Nigeria election, and it will reduce voter apathy, because the people will be reassured that this time around they'll be seeing the outcome of elections as they are trickling in from each polling unit, from each state, from each LGA. Unlike the situation we had in 2023 when Professor Mahmoud Yakubu sits on the table and be reading paper. Nobody sees what he's reading. He can see A and pronounce it as B. Nobody really can confirm. And when you claim to disagree, just like Senator Dino Milai did, they will say go to court. And we all know that the court is no more the last hope of the masses, as the court have been shown to have compromised their integrity. They have compromised with a lot of shady judgments that have been coming out from the court since the emergence of this administration. And prior to this administration, the courts have already lost the confidence of the masses in doing the right thing. So as we prepare to round up on today's episode of the COPDEM People's Parliament, would you want to have your contribution on the burning issue that is so raised?
Yes, Mr. Due Process, let me make some comments on number 3 and 4. Well, for number 3, the NANS president, you and I really cannot say where he is now, except that he has gone quiet after all of those shenanigans that happened. And Nigerians, like you said, will want to know what is really happening to him at this time. So unless we can be reassured that he's safe wherever he is, I think that's what's most paramount at this point, just a reassurance that he's safe and he's alive, a kind of confirmation. Then for number 4, growing unemployment in Nigeria, what went wrong? I'm sure that's not a question you and I should be asking ourselves in the midst of all of this happenings in the country right now. We have had in the recent past, how companies are shutting down operations due to high cost of operations, you know. So that's if one company only, if only one company shuts down its operation, you can imagine the number of people they throw into the labor market. And that's outside of the young graduates that are coming out from the universities on a daily basis, you know. So the issues are a bit compounded. You know, you have existing establishment, company, organizations shutting down. You know, that in itself is a very huge challenge. Then you have the environment is not how do I put it now? It's not conducive, or there's no enabling environment. Exactly, there's no enabling environment for small-scale businesses to pop up and grow. And these small-scale businesses, beyond being a major contributor to the country's GDP, is also a major wing that serves as a employment market for young graduates, most especially in any country. You know, so the private sector is not making any improvement. There's no improvement in the private sector. There's no improvement in small businesses, and existing companies are shutting down. And to even make it very, very worse, my brother, you see, the facilities and factors that should have enabled this business, like electricity, are not there. Fuel very high. Cost of operation generally very, very, very astronomically embarrassingly high. So these are the things that have actually gone wrong. As it is, it's very unfortunate. Nigeria seems to have a lot of intellectual people, but nobody seems to be coming out to. Recently, I think it was this morning I heard in the news where this man who is the MD of African Development Bank, where he made a statement that
additional.
Yes, additional, that life in Nigeria was better in the 60s than it is now. And this federal government mouthpiece, this spokesman, this man that is always countering everybody, what's his name now? Adenuga, yeah, exactly. Was annoying that why will he be why will you make a statement like that? You are talking about a renowned economist. Additional is a renowned economist, so he knows what he's talking about. That's a world economic material. You know, so he knows what he's talking about. You see, these are the problems that we have in this country. Instead of the actors, the government actors, to listen to criticism and see where they can make amends, everybody wants to be justifying what you are doing. Even when you're on the wrong path, you don't want to be corrected. So how do we get this right in that regards? It becomes very difficult. You know, so at the end of the day, the citizens will just be the ones that are suffering. Look at farmlands everywhere. Nobody to go inside the farm to cultivate because of the fear of herdsmen. So now, these are avenues where jobs would have been created both locally and otherwise, but they are not functional. You know, so it's really very tiring, my brother. So I don't know. I think I'll leave it here.
Yes, let me add to what your line of thoughts. I traveled to Area 2 today for the World Press Conference organized by COPDEM, and I was explaining to one of my co-travelers that he should look around and tell me what he's seeing. Could you believe that along the expressway of the airports, along Lugbe, down to expressway, down to Gwagwalada expressway, all we're seeing was Tinubu's poster, 2027. And I asked him, is Tinubu poster now the face of industries that should be popping up? I mean, you are in power for just 2 years. You are not talking about impact, but all you do is to display your picture all around the capital city. Imagine, for crying out loud, that's the International Airport Road. The Nnamdi Azikiwe Airport, that's the road that leads to the airport. So all the dignitaries that visit Nigeria, world leaders that visit Nigeria, the only thing they have to contend with to see along their routes to the airport, to and fro, is the face of Bola Ahmed Tinubu 2027. Is that the address of an industry? I mean, there is no hope. There is no hope for the masses. As a matter of fact, we have to be very realistic. The Tinubu-led administration is not interested in governance. It's only interested in politics. Is interested in enslaving Nigeria into political rigmarole that will not yield any positive outcome for the masses. No country has ever become great by virtue of having a political Maradona. No country have achieved greatness through politics. The only thing that makes country to emancipate is by taking people out of poverty, establishing companies, small, large-scale companies, to be able to provide jobs and give hope to the young people. If any company is not, if any government is not doing this, all it does, just like Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is to display his picture all around the city, that country will go down. And Nigeria is already going down for it. So it is very bad, it is very condemnable. 2027, as a matter of fact, the ban on open campaign has not been lifted. So what are those posters doing? That is a fraudulent abuse of the electoral law. The electoral law states that no candidate is allowed to campaign until when the ban, the embargo on campaign has been lifted. Before candidates are free to commence campaign. But what we have now is that campaign has already started since last year. Barely 1 year into office, and you're already campaigning. If you are in doubt, you can just go along Lugbe Expressway. Not just Lugbe, the entire major express road in Abuja is already overtaken, flooded by Tinubu 2027 poster. And this is a shame. Please, if you want to have more contribution, you can have it before we wrap up today's episode of COPDEM People's Parliament. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Due Process and Mr. Igbe Agbonifo for your submission. I think we have addressed number 1. Number 3, there's no more to discuss there for now. Comrade Agbonifo have said wherever the NANS president may be, we believe very soon will be out to say 1 or 2 things. I think he's safe wherever he is. So that is that. Then growing unemployment in Nigeria. You see, the truth is that, like Agbonifo has said, the cost of living, things have gone high. Everything we are virtually everything we are producing in Nigeria, the raw materials are imported. They do import the raw materials to the country. And the custom duty and all of that, they are very high. Coming back here to Nigeria, the petroleum products and everything are very expensive. They're very expensive for the companies to cope with. And we are looking at it that the Nigeria population is increasing on daily basis. The more people coming to this, this earth is far growing than the way people are living. That is the people that are dying. So the retirement age of 60 years, while some of the government parastatal this time has been increased to 65 years. We know of that of lecturers and professors of 70 years retirement age. All this retirement age need to work on so that the young ones can be able to sit somewhere to hide their heads. How can somebody be working for 65 years in one place? And how do you expect the graduate out there to secure a job while you are not living? So all these things needs to work on to reduce the years of service, no, that is the age I'm talking about, because the service is 35 years now, flat. The age is 65 years. The government needs to do something to bring that down to 55 years so that people can retire earlier for the youth to be able to secure the job. Then coming back to the number 2, by election, INEC is pretending sleeping. You see, the truth is that who is INEC, then who is APC? They are one, because APC brought the INEC chairman to office. So, forgetting the name of INEC, Independent National Electoral Commission, they are not, that name does not work for them. The APC government are still controlling the INEC body, and that is the truth. If we want to get this done in this country, it should not be it should not be that the party in power, it should not be the party in power to bring somebody that will be INEC chairman. They should delegate that to maybe civil society group or other group to be bringing those body, so that they will be very transparent. Even if it is PDP or any other party, that produce the president, and the president brings INEC chairman, we are still going to face the same thing. Because in Nigeria and Africa, they always have joy when they ring election. They always believe that to rig election is the best for them. So to end that, it should not be the same them that will produce the INEC chairman. If all these things are not put in place, my brother, Nigeria will remain still the same. We'll continue to talk and nobody is listening. Thank you very much. Start due process. That is my submission for now.
Thank you, Mr. Davis Sunday. It's been a wonderful pleasure having your insightful contribution. And Mr. John Agbonifo, we appreciate your excellent submissions from Edo State as well. And all other contributors, listeners out there via Zoom, listeners via the DM, we thank you for being part of today's episode of COPDEM People's Parliament. Until we come your way again, thank you for being there. I'll see you and goodbye. All right, good night.
Good night, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Due Process. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right, good night.